Hello, this is Jan from the Fuzzy Duckling, back with part 2 on drawing a flamingo. Now, if you didn't do that video, which is part 1, right before this one, you might want to go and get the video on how to draw the outline of your flamingo, which will be this guy here. Now, we want to try to make him look more like this one, where he's all shaded in. So that's what we're going to do for this video. We're going to shade this little guy. All you'll need is your number 2 pencil, like you take to school or the office, that you have laying around the house, your drawing, and either a piece of tissue paper like a Kleenex, even a paper towel would do, or a blending stick. And I'll show you how to use these in a minute. They're really neat. It does something neat to pencil. So let's get some room here. Let's get to work on this guy. First thing you need to do is to have your drawing, obviously. Now, we want to do some shading, and the way we're going to do that is just by lightly shading in. Don't put a lot of pressure on this. All the way around most of the lines, but let's just start with the body lines here. As smooth as you can. Not too dark, not too light. Little circles. Let's just color in all the way around his body. Some of these spots I may fast forward the video so you don't have to just sit and watch me, but it will take you a little while to do this to your flamingo too, and this is important. Get it as smooth and as nice as you can. Now when you're doing this and you're not watching a video, or I'm not trying to show you on video, you may want to do the whole bird around these edges at the beginning, but I'm going to break it up a little bit here so you can see how this is going to work. Okay, well, not quite around this. I'm going to make kind of this comes up to show where his legs, you know, it needed to be the other way, where his leg fastened in. Really, you're kind of shaping and contouring your flamingo, and just kind of think about what his shape might be. So we're going to fill this in here, and we'll have his body just about done with this. You can kind of see where you erased probably with your egg, and just kind of follow that a little ways around, then come back down here. There we go. Now, to me, this is where the magic happens with pencil. Get your little piece of tissue, and we're going to just rub over the pencil we did, and it will smooth out, and then kind of bring the color down into the flamingo's body. Look how that brings light color in and fills him right in. The more you rub it, the more that this will blend in. So now, this was done with tissue paper, and it makes a very soft blending. And if you're doing a large picture, this is probably one of the best ways to do it. But you have lots of little places on here, and there's another way to do it that's a little bit easier, is a blending stick. You can get these at most, well, craft stores, art stores, office stores, and I buy mine at Walmart. And this comes in a package with, I don't know, I think maybe there's 10 in them of all different sizes, and they don't cost very much at all. So this is a good investment when you get a chance to pick some up. But unless you draw a lot, you probably don't have any on hand, so the good old tissue method will work. But I'm going to use this now and show you. You can get in tighter, put more pressure, and then pull your color up just the way you did with the tissue paper. So either way will work. And we'll get you just about the same results. With the tissue paper, it's kind of hard sometimes to get your finger, unless you have a nice small finger, which you might, to not put shading where you don't want shading. But if that happens, that's all right. Get your little handy-dandy eraser and clean up the edges, and you'll never know that you went over the edge. No problem. Okay, there's the body. Let's work on his wing. Now his wing's going to cast a little bit of a shadow on his body. So we're going to make some dark shading for this shadow here on the outside edges of his wings. Do you see how that's doing? Can you see the darkness of it? We'll call this the shadow color, dark. It's like his beak was dark too. You always want to have some very dark things in your pictures and some very light things in your pictures. So you have dark, you have the medium color, and then you have very light colors, and it makes it look blended or shaded and much more lifelike than if you hadn't done that, if you just had the line. So here we go. We just about got that shadow line. And this is where I'm glad to have a little blender. I'm just going to kind of blend that out. Let's see. There we go. Here we go. It's okay if it smudges because you're going to add some of that in anyway on purpose in a minute. Just to smooth that old shadow line out. There we go. Now, let's just come along and lightly do our little blending circles around the edges of the inside wing or feathers here. Now, you take your time and make them nice and smooth. I always try to hurry a little bit when I'm making a video so that you don't have to spend too much time watching me and you can work on your own picture, which is why you're doing this to begin with, isn't it? So we just about got these wing feathers in. I think this is the part where the magic of your picture starts to happen, when you start to get your shading in. It's an extra step, and it probably will take you longer to actually do this than it was to draw your picture if you take your time, like we should take our time. Now, I'm going to come in and soften this up and pull some of it into my feathers so that they have a little bit of color there. Now this may take you some practice, but it sure won't take you long to catch on to this. Try to smooth all those lines so that there's no jagged, sharp edges, except where you want them. There we go. Hey, let us work on his little flamingo shorts here that we called them before. This leg is behind this leg, so there's going to be shadow here. So we want to color this in dark like we did here and like we did over here on his beak. Tiny little circles, and just take your time and color in those little feathers that we call flamingo shorts. Maybe we could start a new brand called Flamingo Shorts. Maybe there are, for all I know. Now, I'm hurrying. You take your time and you'll have a better flamingo for it. Here we go. On some of these, I'll try to speed up the video. There we go. Take your little blender tool or your tissue and smooth it right out so you have a nice smooth shadowed feathers back here. Okay, on this leg, we want to keep it lighter because that's the leg we're looking at. So let's just do our little shading thing. Just come along the edges, light circles. It looks like it'd be so much harder than it is to do this and get that shaded effect, doesn't it? There's so much you can do with pencil that I don't think most of us even realize that we can do with our plain old pencil that we use to do math problems with and write compositions in school. All right, let's take our blending stick and just blend those in. Let's pull some of it into our leg and give it some color. Don't want a whole lot, but just enough to give it a little bit of color there. There we go. All right, let's do this neck. Now, I will say, I don't have a piece here, but you probably will want to have a piece of paper handy that you lay under your hand because it's easy to smudge things. But so you can see this whole picture, I won't do that anyway. So all around this neck, we need to do our little blending circles. All the way around the edges. I say, I'm going to hurry, so it won't take me too long. But you take your time. If you truly enjoy art, you want to take the time that's needed to make a neat, good picture. And you enjoy that. There really is no reason to do art unless we really enjoy doing art. Because art takes time. It's kind of like music and other things in life that we enjoy, we love to do it. Now, if we don't enjoy it very much, then no. It's kind of like a lot of times we want to play the piano, but we don't want to take the time to practice to learn to play the piano. But you know what? Practice is just playing the piano, which is something we want to do. And what we're doing here is drawing, which is, if you're here, it's probably something you want to do. We've about got him, too. It didn't take very long to get him all shaded in. And blended and looking like a really neat guy. Or girl. Whichever one you want yours to be. Okay, let's pull our little trick here. Blend that in. And then pull some color out into the neck. Kind of leave the middle light where the light is reflecting off of him. And that gives us our light color. Here we go around the curve. Oh, look how your guy's just coming along and looking neat. And if you're not happy with him, don't stop. Every time you draw one, whether you're happy with the results or not, you will learn something that will make your next one look even better yet. And it doesn't matter how long you've drawn, practice always makes it better. So by the time you've drawn your third penguin, it'll look tremendously different, probably, than your first one. And say, draw these over and over and over until you can do it without looking at any instructions, and you can just whip one of these out in no time at all. Okay. Let's blend in his head. Now there is a little different thing I do here. I go ahead and do my blending circles around the edge. But we want his cheek to show a little bit, so we want to leave that light because kind of like maybe the sun is shining off his cheek. So come around here and just kind of do your blending in a circle and let it come and meet his eye a little bit. You see how that is? Kind of around here and then up to where this was and around his head and around this other side. let's take our little one. This is where this is handy, this sharp one in his head. There's not much space to work here. And if you do a smaller penguin, there's a penguin. Yes, a smaller flamingo. I may have called him a penguin earlier, who knows. I seem to want to call these guys penguins for some reason, and I know he's not a penguin. There, look at that. Now all we have to do is his tail and his legs. And I bet you know what we're going to do for his tail right now. I'm going to darken my line up a little bit. We're just going to do that blending little circles all the way around the edges of my tail. Again, you take your time and do these smoother than I'm doing. It'll make for a better picture. It's funny how we say, don't do as I do, but do as I say. If I would slow down, though, this would be a very long video. And you probably wouldn't want to sit there and watch it all. Here we go. We just about got it. This is the slower part. The blending part's pretty quick, isn't it? Here we go. There we are. All right. Take your blending stick and here we go. Let's pull some up into those feathers and get them colored. Now, pull some of this down. And there we are. All we need to do is his legs. And I bet you already figured out what we're going to do. We're just going to blend down along the edges. Be sure you don't get too wide here, since these legs are skinny. Around the circle. Now, I would say go ahead and go clear around that circle with your blending. Let's go this side. Here we'll go over with this leg. Down over the other side. Now there's probably some shadow where his leg's back there, so we'll blend down on the outside of that leg a little bit. It always pays to try to think of where the shadows are. But just as a general thing, if you're not worried too much of where the lighting is and you want them to look blended, just go around the edges. And it has a pretty neat effect. All right. Here we go. Let's blend these in. Pull the color towards the middle a little bit. There we go. Round and around and around this kneecap. Look at that. Isn't that neat what that does? And we'll just smooth out these toes here. We're about there. I notice I have some smudgies here. All right, one more leg to go. Here we go. Our little blending circles straight down this leg. Well, and underneath a little bit here too. We might need to darken those lines up there a little bit. Let's do that. Kind of, because there'll be some shadow there, so that they don't get lost in our blending. All right, we're down to this circle. Circle around. Up we go. Let's get this long old part of this leg here. And let's just go ahead. I'm hurrying here because I know this video has gotten long. And blend around these lines in his feet. And you know the next step. take your blending tool, whatever it is, and shade it in. Look at that. Isn't that neat? I love that. Here we go. Now again, remember, you take it slower than what I'm doing. There we go. There is your flamingo. One more thing you might want to do if you have any smudges anywhere is come in and clean up your smudges. I wouldn't have had this many smudges if I'd have kept a piece of paper under my hand here, which is something I should have done. So you can see on my page why you should have to. But that's something we just have to learn to do and remember to do it. There we go. I hope you had fun today during doing our flamingos. So thank you for drawing with me today, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.